Naruto Headband also hated Kung Fu Panda.
I love Kung Fu!
Hello friends and welcome back to ReddX, your source for the freshest daily cringe content. Anywhere on the internet, promise, swearsies it's just a fact, and it's totally science. Go ahead and look it up. Today we're jumping back into r/LegbeardStories. Yes indeed, the one and only Unfortunate is making her return to the stage. I'm not sure whether to be happy or sad or excited or fearful. As per usual, I'm a little hesitant to jump into Unfortunate. It did spawn the Backbeard saga, Fluid Beard, that we saw yesterday. I have some thoughts about that I probably should have put into the video, but I don't feel that I'm knowledgeable enough about what it means to be trans to really throw my 2 cents in. So I went a little light on the trigger, you know what I mean? But it was the first sponsored video on the channel, and I was super excited to see that people were excited to see me getting sponsored. Does that make sense? I definitely appreciate you guys' support, is what I want to say. You don't need to worry too much. You ain't gonna see no Raid Shadow Legends anytime soon, unless I get to read it in the Neckbeard voice. Because that's the real moneymaker, isn't it? God damn. Anyways, I guess we'll see what we're about to get into today. We'll get some plugs and disclaimers out of the way, and then we will dive right into some of this LegbeardStories cringe. Unfortunate Part 9. That's what it is. There is no title. It's just Part 9. Oh, we do have a title later. The never-ending saga continues. I forgot the title, so let's just call this Part 9. Titties and DDR. I love that Reddit is like such a huge website, but you still can't edit fucking titles. It's just like Twitter never having an edit button, right? Ridiculous. Anyways, here are some links. Those are down in the description if you'd like to watch the videos for yourself. Amazing rendition of the prologue. Yeah, maybe. I can't remember. Was it amazing? Did I do good? And there's also the previous part and the next part. Oh, you've consolidated it. I think that's a good way to go. Also, my buddy Brute has been giving her side of Unfortunate in her own sagas, like Brute's Tale on Unfortunate, Part 1, which we will get into eventually once we have all these other parts wrapped up, you know, then we get 2 sides of the same beard. Also, not safe for work warnings. Leg/neckbeards are gross, and this story is no exception. You have been warned. This section is especially heavy into some kinky shit. You have been warned thrice now. Yeah, including the warning I gave him, right? Or is it quadrice now? I don't know how it works past thrice. Anyways, here's our cast list. Unfortunate, the most unique of all the snowflakes. If she could harness her capacity to obsess over people into something productive, she would probably be a CEO by now. According to herself, and doesn't want any attention at all. Yet somehow, magically, everything was always about her. Naruto Headband, martial arts enthusiast with a superiority complex. He once talked an entire 50-minute bus ride non-stop, and a hobo near us got off one stop before us and remarked while getting off the bus, "Man, you must really love the sound of your own voice." We had run into the hobo of truth. It's Ramtide. I know who that guy is. Was he a redhead? A portly ginger man-child? Greedy is ROP, a sad and stressed out high school student, balancing my time between babysitting Naruto Headband and Unfortunate. Felt responsible for both of them. Herding cats would have been way easier. Pilot and Pez are Naruto Headband's only friends. Fabulous Peacock is a friend of Unfortunate, who also rejected Unfortunate when she hit on her. With all that out of the way, let's go ahead and jump on in. Where last we left off, Unfortunately got raped, but not really, by Kendo. And then started dating him because, that wasn't that big of a deal, or maybe it was just a misunderstanding, or maybe it just didn't happen at all. Maybe. She also at some point managed to swing and miss at security guard who unfortunately already had a fiance. That bastard! Nookie and OP were reunited as friends because Naruto Headband was kind enough to allow it. Oh, what a generous lord and master indeed. Let's learn some things that afterwards helped me understand who I spent time with. Yay learning! Yay science! I think this is right out of the DSM. People with narcissistic personality disorder, NPD, are characterized by the personality traits of persistent grandiosity, an excessive need for admiration and recognition, and a personal disdain and lack of empathy for other people. As such, the person with narcissistic personality disorder usually displays arrogance and a distorted sense of personal superiority, and seeks to establish abusive power and control over others. Self-confidence, a strong sense of self, is a personality trait different from the traits of NPD. Thus, people with NPD typically value themselves over others to the extent of openly disregarding the wishes and feelings of anyone else and expect to be treated as superior regardless of their actual status or achievements. Socially, the person with narcissistic personality disorder usually exhibits a fragile ego, self-concept, intolerance of criticism, and a tendency to belittle other people in order to validate their own feelings of superiority. Thanks, Wikipedia. That does sound like remarkably, shockingly like beards, doesn't it? I think this is similar to one of those logic puzzles where it's like, not all narcissists are beards, but all beards are narcissists. You know what I mean? Oh God, that did shed some light. I have learned already today. Thanks, OP. Naruto Headband only had 2 friends. When he trained martial arts, nobody liked him because he had no respect for others. To me, he explained it as, "They're just too afraid of my power." They're wusses and can't handle having their ass handed to them. They're all scheming against me, so Master won't notice how great I am. Oh, if only he had said senpai, I would be in orbit. They're cowards. I'm his greatest disciple. You wait and see. He'll want me to ascend to a teacher under him soon. Yeah, I'm sure that'll happen. He wouldn't let me talk to any of the other guys training. I was one of the only girls there. There's that fragile fucking ego. You can't handle your lady even talking to another dude? That is just the smallest dick energy. He'd also explain this to me as me being naive to think that if I was left unattended with anyone with a penis, that they wouldn't try to rape me. Jesus Christ. He was protecting me by not allowing me to even learn any of their names. He glared at me if I ever pair trained with anyone else other than him, unless it was one of the very few girls. So when I picked up this martial art to train with him, he was thrilled. Finally, someone who couldn't say no to training with him. Oh God, the sexual abuse is gonna turn into physical abuse real quick, and I am not liking where this is going. I should have buckled my seatbelt, as our guitar beard OP would say. We'd establish no headshots, and then he'd hit me in my fucking face. No throws, and then he'd flip me on my back, knocking the air out of me. No kicks? Yeah, you get the idea. He'd fucking kick. He'd lose his mind if I joke that my boyfriend hits me harder than anyone else. It was too close to the truth. These stories are always a lot to take in. He'd also want to trade whenever I wasn't doing what he wanted and said no to sex. Yes, a good excuse as any to beat you up, I guess. What a fucking baby, man. We've already established that he's less than human, but somehow it just manages to get worse and worse all the fucking time. Oh, deep breath. He'd also bitch and whine at me and goad me to quit training martial arts if I said that I didn't want to train. Naruto headband. You're so lazy and weak. You can't take one darn throw. Why even practice if you don't have what it takes? You're just shaming everyone who has ever trained martial arts with your poor attitude. Just quit if you can't handle it. Let me throw Naruto headband around for a little bit, see how he likes it. Just fucking mollywallop the shit out of him every time we go training. And then I'm like, yeah, come on, let's go train some more. And he's like, nah, I'm good. I'm like, no, your attitude's just terrible. The irony of that fucking statement. Jesus. Unfortunately, and Naruto headband. 2 peas in a pod. Both of them are just a lot. I would take a lot of abuse because I actually did love martial arts and I wanted to train, but I'd also become extremely afraid of letting anyone see me train because I was ready for basically everybody to belittle my progress and beat me, like he did. Naruto headband also hated Kung Fu Panda. That's good. I love that's the best sentence so far. You know, Kung Fu Panda is the movie with Jack Black. He felt that it cheapened the honor and prestige of martial arts. Why? Because it's a panda doing it? Kung Fu Panda is awesome. And by the way, one of our master's favorite movies as well. But I just want to stamp on how seriously this dude took himself as a martial artist. Beards taking themselves too seriously? Surely not. Also, the others, they beat his ass. Or just blocked everything that he tried to show them with his non-existent dominance. Like I said, this dude's bitch made. Like, I'm pretty sure I could take him. Oh, you could do a backflip? That's cool. Now let me see how fast I can make you fucking go to sleep. It's really easy. That's the best way to stop a fight. Just make him sleepy. He eventually stopped pair training, both because nobody wanted to train with him since he was just plain abusive. I mean, it's not pair training if you can't keep within the confines of the agreed rules of combat. It's just abuse and assault if you can't, and he never did. He always played dirty and did whatever he wanted. And 2, he didn't like when people showed him how he's not all that. He didn't want proof of it, so he just came home and beat me instead. Easy win, and he felt superior. Fucking train wreck. The rage is just seething. As soon as I open an Unfortunate story, I know what I'm getting into, and somehow it manages to top itself every time. I hate him so much. Women beaters and kitty fiddlers. There's nobody that I want to fucking smash in the mouth more. He would try to train with Pilot and Pez, his only 2 friends, but because he was a little shit and would always play dirty as if it was a real fight, Pez and Pilot both trained with him less and less. Nobody wanted to play with him, not even his friends. At the end of all this, I'm pretty sure he's going to be playing with himself. His superiority complex extended to art as well. Of course, Naruto headband was an excellent artist. So excellent, in fact, that he refused to share any of his work online. He'd often look at some of the biggest names on DeviantArt back in 2006 to 2008 and scoff that he could easily pull off what they do and more. But ask him to show it? To prove it? Nay, nay, it was beneath him. He was so good that he didn't need to show anyone his mastery in art. Sometimes if I prodded him some about this, it would get really convoluted, like, he couldn't share his work because he knew he was better, but also he knew he had limits that he didn't want to know about. You talking straight at your ass, dude. What, what the hell does that even mean? Oh, God. And more importantly,
And no one else should see where his skill ended. He was amazing, and that's all we need to know.
the reasoning is so shit, dude. Like, okay, you could just say, I'm scared of somebody stealing my art because it's so good. But you gotta take it this, like, really weird roundabout way. I have limits I don't want to know about. Nobody else should know where my skill ends. What the fuck? Oh, that's hilarious. Furthermore, one of the reasons he said he fell for me was that I drew really cute couple art about me and my ex. I did do that for Naruto Headband as well. Very much like Unfortunate, he would just nitpick at the things that I did wrong. Anatomical errors, illogical shading, poor color choices, or bad pen techniques, etc. And he did some doodles for me before we got together, but nearly nothing when we were together. I mean, the trap is sprung, the bait has worked. There's no need to provide more bait. Of course, Naruto Headband had thousands of excuses why
It was so awkward, he didn't want to.
or he blamed Nookie for
Traumatizing him when it came to drawing gifts.
You gotta understand, I rarely asked, but I started to when he never drew me anything and I had drawn him many, many things. The fun twist is, there was piles upon piles of huge milk-firing tits porn. Oh, God. That's the second best sentence that he drew of me. And he would try to hide them. Throw them away. God damn it, dude. That is so fucking funny. He's into milky titties. But I found them. And for a while, I hoarded them. I showed them to him and asked, why is he why is he okay drawing this shit about me without my consent, but not like cute couple stuff? And he'd feel really ashamed and beg me to destroy it. But I said that, well, if this is the only stuff that he can make for me, then I guess I'll just keep it. Really, it's for him, isn't it? It's kind of incidental that OP is the subject, but he's doing all this for himself, I'm pretty sure. He doesn't know how to care for another human being. That much has been made very obvious. In all honesty, I had so little power in our relationship that when I found any leverage, any vague grab at equality, even though it was shaming him through the massive amounts of giant milky titty drawings of myself, I clung to it. And yes, besides raping me and normalizing it as part of my
Duty and privilege as his girlfriend.
he also tried to push me back into sex without protection and use techniques that he'd read about online to stimulate my boobs to produce milk without having a baby. Yeah, that's never gonna work. Also, that makes the whole without protection thing that much more fucking terrifying. Do not spawn a beard baby. And OP didn't, thank God, in heaven. All I really have to say about the whole situation is that his techniques didn't work and my bazungas hurt like hell. Bazungas. God. Eventually I burned all the porn that he drew as the devil spawn spank bank material that it was. But I have no doubt that he is still drawing that shit wherever the hell he is. In fact, he had this whole thing about most hentai being shit, so he would draw his own hentai to jack off to. That's so symbolic of his like self-worship. He thinks he's the best thing to ever live. The only cartoons that is good enough for me to spill my seed to is the ones that I have drawn. Holy shit. This is the real fun part of the story. All of a sudden, I'm really glad we did this today. So he drew this stuff often, which was why there was so much of it. And unfortunately, more learning. Histrionic personality disorder, HPD, is defined as a personality disorder characterized by a pattern of excessive attention-seeking behaviors, usually beginning in early childhood, including inappropriate seduction and an excessive desire for approval. People diagnosed with this disorder are said to be lively, dramatic, vivacious, enthusiastic, extrovert, and flirtatious. A personality disorder characterized by shallow and labile affectivity, self-dramatization, theatricality, exaggerated expression of emotions, suggestibility, egocentricity, self-indulgence, lack of consideration for others, easily hurt feelings, and continuous seeking for appreciation, excitement, and attention. Thank you, Wikipedia. Now, we've been in the very vanilla shit when it comes to Unfortunate. As mentioned, she was way too open about her sex life and changing sexuality and kinks. I'm not sure about other friends, but with me, she definitely had a contest going on with herself about who was the kinkiest. And I'm sure that she thoroughly enjoyed that contest because she won quite easily. I wasn't even particularly kinky as a young adult. I was quite curious about a lot of things, and she pushed me into things that were beyond my comfort zone, as did Naruto Headband. Some things are probably forever trauma-locked as shit that I will never even consider anymore. She has an incredibly strong sex drive. She's the one who pushed First Love, Baldy, Naruto Headband, Kendo, and others into having sex for the first time. She claimed to be allergic to latex, which is why she never wanted to wear a condom. Also, baby. And she didn't want to be on the pill because it made me fat. I don't understand why these beards want to spread their shitty genetics so badly. When it comes to contraception, okay, latex is not the only type of condom that there is. There is no freaking way that I would trust Unfortunate with my spawn. And considering the fact that she doesn't have a baby yet, it seems like nobody else would either. Oh, thank God for that. Thank God for small miracles. And Unfortunate, as I stated, really wanted babies. So that probably played a huge part as well. She had a massive sex toy collection that she would show off. She would tell all of us that she's going to buy or has bought, and come look how big it is about her new sex toys. Like she'd just come into Peacock's home and whip out the latest massive butt plug and show it off to her and wonder where it will fit completely unprompted and without any warning. Did I mention that Peacock lived with her mother at times? Also, her sex toys didn't seem to bother her none with her latex allergies. Most were probably silicone, and she claimed to have a latex allergy, but I'm just saying, I have seen her wear latex without issue, so, well, I don't know. I do. I think we all know deep down if we think about it hard enough, which for the sake of my own sanity, I am not going to do. For me, these sex toy introductions very much went into the same categories as spoilers, where I told her, good for you, just don't tell me about it. Even literally sometimes screamed at her, do not tell me about it. But of course, she just had to. She was very into the Dom sub BDSM thing, where obviously she wanted to be the submissive slave to her daddy Dom. She even wore a collar out in public that read, slave, a lot. Even if nobody wanted to claim ownership for her. Oh, what a nice collar. Oh, there's no phone number. They don't want you back. She wanted her long-distance boyfriends to remote control a vibrator that she had inside of her, and told us, me, Brute, Peacock, probably others, about it in absolute fucking rapture. As Brute mentioned, Unfortunate called, during one of Brute's birthday parties, her long-distance relationship daddy to give her little kitten some orders. Nya! Her dream was to be a bratty little daddy's princess who would never grow up and never had to do anything but get spanked and bitten and degraded and choked as she gets splooged on her face. Yeah, I guess that's one way to earn your keep. She was also super into femboy yaoi, so boys that look like girls, and twincest. They have such a strong connection. The sex must be astronomically hot. And she would describe in excruciating detail why she believed this. She also liked shipping underage girls with grown men in fiction, and of course, drawing them having sex too. I know all this because oversharing. Y'all are welcome. Hit Nookie up. You'll get like 50% of all 9 parts of the saga from her within the first hour from her very own mouth. Yeah, I'm never gonna do that. Thanks, but no thanks. My research in beardology will remain secondhand at this point. Before I met Unfortunate, I was into DDR, or Dance Dance Revolution, which are like these dancing games. On my own, I got into the local DDR community, talked to the enthusiast who always played the arcade machines, joined the forums, made friends. Heck, I even competed in the very first national championships of DDR in my country, and I came in second last. Hey, you tried, and that's what's important. It was a very big and dear thing to me. A few of my bros used to be those DDR kids in high school. I never got into it. If I went to a competition, I would come in last, for sure. Nookie was both jealous and into it. And when I made the mistake of mentioning that I'd made like-minded friends, she made deep, dreamy sighs and, really wish she could have more friends who like the same thing as she does. I've never been one to gatekeep, and I love to share anything that I have with my friends, so I took her with me to a pre-Christmas party with all of my DDR friends. She kept saying, "Thank you," and blubbering how she could never do this without me. She literally hung from my arm and peeked from behind it like a fucking toddler while being introduced. That's suspended adolescence for real, aside from the massive butt plugs and whatnot. Though as soon as I made the introduction, she made sure that she became the center of attention the entire evening. She'd answer for me in a way that put me in a shitty light. My friend would say, "So how's your week been, Greenie?" Unfortunately, "Oh, Greenie's been too busy with school to play. Unlike me, I've been practicing tons." "Thanks, asshole." She would talk on top of me, usually to try and outdo me. OP, "Oh yeah, I really like playing Angel Vision because, unfortunately, squee, I love Angel Vision. It's my favorite song and I could just play it forever. I even got a perfect score from it yesterday." She would literally jump in front of me to make people look at her and not me. She's a specimen. None of this is as bad as Naruto Headband beating up OP during karate practice. I'm glad we started out with the bad stuff and then we kind of get this as a chaser to wash it away. Talking about, sex toys and milky titties and DDR. If the attention was not on Unfortunate, she would go under a table to cry. She'd bang her head on the table if no one noticed her crying. She'd whip out any number of her classic sob stories to explain whomever had dumped her last, her terrible childhood, how she lived in the system, etc., to keep everyone enthralled and all eyes on her. I don't think they're enthralled in the right way. They're just like, Jesus. What a train wreck. She'd attempt to sing in Japanese in an off-key nasal tone, imitating Japanese pop idols. She thought of herself as a great singer. She was not. She sounded much like her cat that screamed when she threw her. We had a mixed sauna. Oh no, it's not gonna go well. with men and women, and she went to sit in the middle of the guys. All boys were on one side and all the girls were on the other, and she talked about her search for a daddy dom, but made lewd eye contact with one of the girls, as she was, after all, bisexual. And then she sat spread-legged in there, of course, because why not? That's a classic Unfortunate move. We've seen it before, and it was just as disgusting the first time. I wanted to crawl into a hole from secondhand embarrassment. In fact, I felt such cringe that I almost didn't notice how this wee, sad little thing that couldn't have come here without my friend all but forgot about me for the entire night, unless it was to steal my thunder. It wasn't long after all this that the whole DDR community sort of faded me out. I got the impression that Unfortunate had told stories about me. I didn't even fight to keep that friend group. Funnily enough, Nookie gave up on him too after a while, even though I just let her have the entire community. Maybe they got tired of her antics. I honestly don't know. What I do know is that she came in together with me and burned the whole fucking thing down. It wouldn't have lasted forever anyways, OP. Don't feel too bad. Who's playing DDR these days? Probably somebody. Next time we could talk about Unfortunate's first apartment and how sparse but nasty that was. There were things there that I cannot unsee. Oh my god! Neckbeard nest, or legbeard nest, I guess. Remember, laughter is the music of the soul. If you can laugh at it, you can get over it. Also, aim to shower daily. It is good for you. Greenie, out. It's such a toss-up who I really hate more between Naruto Headband and Unfortunate. I gotta lean towards Naruto Headband. I have been leaning towards him this whole time as the more despicable of the two. But goddamn, they are both just a couple of specimens. It is fascinating to watch. I'm so sorry that OP had to go through all of this, but I do hope that letting it all out there brings some sort of catharsis with it. We can all sit around and laugh and cringe and go, yeah, that was fucking horrible, but we are all glad that you're over it now, OP. I'm fairly curious about Unfortunate banging her head on walls and tables. Is that like just a tick of hers? Is it something legitimate, or is she just doing it for attention, you know? Maybe a little combo of both. What I do know is that basically everything Naruto Headband does fits to a T with the narcissistic personality disorder that we were discussing at the top of the post, which is a fascinating comparison to make. I wouldn't have made it myself, you know. I'm not a doctor or nothing like that, but with all of it laid out there like that, it is shockingly relevant to everything that we read on this channel. I'll have to keep it in my back pocket for later, I suppose. I do hope that you guys enjoyed this episode. If you did, I hope that you'll like, comment, and or subscribe. Maybe share the video around. That's the real MVP play. Spread the word of ReddX and the Jerry Army. We've also got a bunch of stuff in the description. You can click around. Those 3 Ps: plugs, playlists, podcasts. Yes, indeed. Thank God for my pop filter. We've also got my social medias, of course. Twitter, Discord, Facebook. Come on through. Hit me up. I'd appreciate it. And then there's also my gorgeous, wonderful, beautiful, generous patrons. I would like to thank them as I do every video, so thank you very much. Rubber Weights, Baron Von Waggy Pants, Jarhead Jerry, River Jerry, TSM Kirby, Aaron W, Twisted Child, Delicious Jelly Donut, Cinnamon Susie, Fire Drake, Gigabot, hey Jerry, Livison, Mr. Anime Manga Fan, Silent Revolver, the Jerry behind the slaughter, watch out, Magdalene Marshall Thornrose, Captain Clown Jerry, Hong Kong, Cherry Kitsune, Jerry Satori, yeah! Little Lone Wolf, Vanilla Mel, Roustower, Princess Jerry. That's a new one. Not the first female Jerry, but the first female Jerry that's identifiable, I think. Anunnaki, Asian Persuasion Jerry, yeah! Assassin Pug Mom, Bitch Gremlin, Commander A, Tank, Dinosaur Nightlight, Disposable Waifu, Aaron Lennox, Gypsy, Hadrian BR, Heathcliff, Hypno Greek God, Jerry, not Pokemon. What the hell is that? He's not Pokemon. He's the Greek god of sleep, okay? Not Pokemon. Let's be specific. A pimp named J. Crisp, J.M. Coon, Jerry with an I, that is a different Jerry. The original Jerry, Jerry who got the marble rolling. That's right, here we go. It ain't never gonna stop now. John Hero, Sim Boofa, because if you boof it is free. Miss Monday, Lexi Loves Jojo, Lord Lionel, Lori Ellis, Jack and Rule, Melgar the Destroyer, Mint Mirthful Baker, Mr. Jerry, my boy Nat One Nick, Natari, Lady Nix, Nightmare Jerry, Origami Jerry, gotta fold them all. I love when we get two Jerrys next to each other. It tickles me. Phantom of the Pines, Katikin, Sidestep, Rosemary Miller, Cider Drinker, Serrated Ass Staples, Yeet, Stephanie Goodner, Synaptic Boomstick, Brilliant Tamago, Tapioca Boogaloo, Tato Ferret, That Duck and Bug, The One True Fusky, Treeberg, Wilmax, yet another different Jerry. That's true. Zero Blacktail, Kira M, Kitzikin, Redwind, Goose Says Honk, Naga Viper, Saints Blessing, John Indoors, 211 Jerry. A normal Jerry, a different Jerry. That's 3 Jerrys in a row. It's a new high score. Amara, A Roxers, Banished Knight, Barbushka's Irradiated Jerry. I can't breathe. Oh, Cake Jerry, the original different Jerry, California Jerry Girl. That's 3 more Jerrys in a row. Good God, dude. Chris Meska, Cinnamon Bunny Dog, Crip Jerry, Cuban Jerry, Devon Jerry. That's 3 squared Jerrys in a row. Add that up. Do the math on that. You guys are beautiful. Oh, Ghost of Alpha, KJW, Kajow, Lepichi Jerry. Oh, Life of a Guardian, Little Ann Woods, maybe next Jerry, Milkfed Gimp, Miss Duchess, Origami Cam, Princess Rosalie, Ghosty, Ryga, Raptor Art, Spoon Eater Rogue, Steampunk Ellie, the Necro Jerry Con, the original Jerry, who is not the original Jerry, Token Black Jerry, we've also got Hydra Jerry down there somewhere, and it's totally science. Go ahead and look it up. Promise. Swearsies, it's just a fact. I'm dying. The Patreon has just become like meme central, and I'm living for it. It's so good, you guys. Thank you guys all so much for supporting the channel in the way that you do. I do hope some other people will consider signing up on the Patreon, but if you can't do it right now, don't sweat it too hard, friends. I just appreciate you coming on through, hanging out with me, and I hope you come on back and hang out with me again tomorrow. In order to do so, you need to keep yourself safe out there, wash your hands, but also take some time out and do something that you personally enjoy today. Maybe like watching some more ReddX videos? Come on. And always remember, friends, that you are loved, you are worthy, and you definitely, definitely deserve it. I shall see you in the next one. And until then, bye-bye.